Welcome to Costly Conversations. It's a very special episode. We have the John Keys from GunsOut TV. What's going on, John?
What's up, Aaron, man? Great to see you, man. Again, last time I saw you at in person was at Epic Shoot. But you know what? I've been seeing you everywhere, man. You just been as busy as us. Saw you at the Primary Arms Range Day. Saw you again at Epic Shoot. You're always all over social media, man. So, you know, that's good. That's good to see, man. I like to see that, you know, because man, I know you're busy. So if I see you wherever we're at, then I know you're busy.
I appreciate it, man. But, you know, we're trying to be busy, lest we run out of things to do. Can't have that. We got a job to do. We got to stay busy. Did want to just jump right into it, man. I know you guys just I dropped today, actually, dropped an episode with Warrior Poet Society on their Warrior Poet Society network. It's a little tongue twister there. And, dude, it was amazing. Production quality, amazing. The acting, pretty good.
I'll take that, man.
Pretty good. And the story, I thought it was a really cool story, just kind of talking about where you guys came from and just the saga of it all and just kind of getting the show off the ground. And I think it's super dope to kind of see the beginnings of something that I think is going to be legendary. And, you know, hopefully we can look back in the history books and see that Guns Out changed the world.
Man, bro, I appreciate you saying that. And, you know, honestly, you know, I am an eternal optimist. Sure, Michael will tell you that. Like, I always, you know, positivity is a huge part of my life. And I think it's through that positivity that I've been able to manifest a lot of blessings for myself and my family. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you saying it exactly the way that you did, a part of history, you know, legendary, because honestly, after watching that episode and really, you know, walking through the steps that we took to get where we are right now. And that's just the first episode. There's so much more. There's so much more that goes into it. It was humbling, man. It was humbling. It's one of those things where you don't really know what you're doing or what you're going through in the moment because you're living it. You're plugged in. And that's what I've been trying to do more of in my life, you know, these last 5 or so years, is really be present, right? Because, you know, people try to get ahead of themselves and try to worry about things that aren't really, you know, happening right at this moment. Whereas if you just be present, sometimes you'll rewrite your own history. You'll change the course of your future if you're just doing what you need to do in this moment, putting everything you got into what you're doing. So it reminded me how plugged in we were. It reminded me how present we were when we decided we wanted to start Guns Out. How important the mission was, how serious we took the mission. And yeah, man, to actually recount that for that documentary style episode, we enjoyed it. It really reminded us where we started and why we started, and it continues to motivate us. So I just appreciate your comment, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, it's interesting because as you're talking and as I'm just remembering meeting you for the first time and the second time and just kind of watching your interactions online and y'all going from season 1 to season 2 and just the step up that even that was in your show on YouTube and going into now it's on Warrior Post Society as well. One thing that I personally have felt is, you know, when you see the stars, and yes, John, I think, you know, you qualify. When you see the stars, it seems like they're so far away, you know, just the people who are out there doing things and with the connections and get to shoot all the cool guns and get to meet all the people they wish they could meet. But if someone were to really meet you, I would say, and I know you could say this about yourself, that you're actually a really personable guy, really down to earth, just a normal guy, as much as you're driven and motivated and you got all this the things that you've achieved by working hard. You're a really personable guy, real funny, and you're just a nice guy. So I hopefully people can see that during this time, this little interview that we're doing, and hopefully we can talk about the cool things that you guys are about to do, if any of that can be talked about.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man. You know, I honestly, humility is a big deal, man. A lot of people don't take humility serious enough. I think humility comes with purpose. And if you have purpose and you focus on your purpose is usually bigger than you. So as you focus on that, you're not focusing on yourself. So it's like you can be in the moment, you can interact normally, you can, and you know, it's just a lot. It's a lot. It comes with maturation. You know, I feel like I've worked on myself a lot over the years. and I try to listen more, talk less, and just really be about what it is that I want to be about doing. You know, the things that matter, the things that make me happy, the things that make other people around me happy. I love to see people happy. So you know, if I'm with people, I try to keep the spirits high. I try to keep everybody uplifted and elevated. And I feel like it's always reciprocated in one way or another. So it's like that positivity circle, that karma loop, whatever you believe in, however you want to call it. So as using that as my foundation, I found it very, very helpful to be able to interact with just about anybody. And that's what I prefer to do. That's how I've always been. I'm social by nature. So, you know, it's just one of those things, man. But yeah, thanks for acknowledging that. And I don't, you know, I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like because people tell me what it looks like all the time. But to be honest, we don't see it as that. You know, we see ourselves just meeting other regular people that are doing things that we are like-minded about, right? Mm-hmm. And then in some cases, meeting other people that haven't done the things that we're like-minded about, but we are introducing them to something new. Mm-hmm. So it's just interaction. It's just personal interaction. That's all this is. It's personal interaction with the camera following us. And that's kind of how we take it.
No, I think that's important, especially if you were trying to stay grounded, trying to be a human who can talk to everybody, who can be a friend, who can, you know, be a husband, be a father, all the things that John is. And I think that's not, if they just take a look at social media, if they just watch a video, they're not going to see that, John, because you're focused. You know, you have to be focused. Mm-hmm. You have to, you know, be John Keys from GunsOut. But at the end of the day, like, when you're tired, when you get out the gym and you're just beat and you're just laying on the couch and you're like, man, somebody, can y'all get me something to drink? I'm tired. Like, you're a normal guy. And I hope that not only just you, but other people who come on the program this season who maybe are our biggest status, that people can kind of like be like, you know what, they're so normal and we can achieve the things that they've done if we just keep working hard and things like that. But I do want to talk.
I want to touch on that. I like that though. I like that. And I think it's important. And I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of like that's one of the things that I noticed about you very early on, is that, you know, you're doing this podcast and you're having these people on, you're having these crucial conversations, as you so appropriately named it. And, you know, I can tell that this is enriching for you. Like, I feel like you're into it just as much as you want your audience to be into it. So that's why I was very interested to sit and talk with you, because I could tell, I could feel the drive in you. I could feel the energy in you and what you really wanted to bring across the table. And I saw your interviews, and, you know, it's very well put together. It's very well thought out. You know, the email you sent me with all of the talking points and the different things that, you know, you wanted to propose and how you run your platform. I mean, it's all very professional. And I mean, there's no way that we were going to pass on an opportunity to highlight this and to be a part of this with you, because this is important. What you said, normal people doing things normally, right? But it looks extraordinary to some people that don't have access to it. You know, my father, after watching the episode on Warrior Poetry Society Network, you know, he told me, he FaceTimed me and he told me, he's like, son, I don't have enough time tonight to tell you what I'm thinking after I saw that. But just know that I just have too many words and we're going to have to talk about this another time, because he knew I had this interview tonight, right?
That's amazing.
And I was humbled by that. And it's true, man. People live, that is why the advent of social media has been so profound, because it allows people to see other people like them and not like them all across the country, all across the world, doing similar things, same things, more ambitious things. You're getting ideas from other people. You're seeing barriers broke down every single day. So it's about being real. It's about being about something. And people are going to gravitate to it because everybody wants to be about something. Everybody wants to be a part of something. And you got people that latch on to stupidity, obviously. You got people that, you know, all they want to do is just kind of jump over on this crowd and jump over on that crowd. That's just the human nature. People are going to do that, right? But you also have all of these very robust audiences that are looking for what you provide, what we provide, what this person over here and that person over there can provide, because it's a different perspective. It's a different human being. Everything that we do is different per human being that does it. So you just have this variety of everything. So it's kind of like a gift and a curse, because we have access to all of this now, right? But now we have so much competition. So not only do you have to be yourself, but you also just really have to, it has to offer something different. It has to relate to as many people as possible if you can, or if not, just do you. And then again, the people will find you.
Wow. Thank you for saying that. Cause I think what a lot of smaller creators sometimes will worry about, and I know this because I do all the research on, you know, how to be successful in content creation, is they're like, man, do I have to change myself? Do I have to do X, Y, and Z? Do I have to kind of be a little crazy? And, you know, maybe, but that's not going to be sustainable as somebody who wants to touch the world, that somebody who wants to share whatever message or whatever passion that they have. You need to, you know, be genuine and do what you love. And at the end of the day, if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, that's too bad. They missed out.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's just not for them, you know? And that's the other thing that, you know, everybody can stand to like realize more, is that everybody's not going to believe in what you believe in. Everybody's not going to adapt to things the way you adapt to things, or receive things the way you receive things. Human perspective is one of God's greatest gifts, because to be honest with you, it's like we can get too close to things. We can get too adamant about things. We can get very biased about things. So for me, I'm always ready to hear somebody else's perspective. If you disagree with something I said, if you disagree with something I did, if you disagree with something that I stand for, that's fine. As long as you bring your opinions in a respectable manner, you will get that same respect from me, and I will stop and think about it. I guarantee. There's not one thing that a person has ever told me, good, bad, or ugly, that I haven't stopped and really thought about, okay, why did this person say this? Or where was that person coming from? You know, there's so many things that we don't know about each individual on this planet, what they've been through, how they were brought up, where they lived. You know, all of these things make up our personalities. And our personalities receives things, and then you respond. So, you know, everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have their own opinion and their own perspective. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I learned from it.
Yeah, that's actually a big reason why I started the podcast, Constant Conversations, is to be able to talk about stuff that's maybe it's uncomfortable, maybe it's taboo, maybe it's you know, we're just kind of in a situation where it's like, man, politics is coming up, and you know, you don't really like to talk about politics. So far, I haven't really spoke about politics on this platform so much, in the sense that, because I don't want it to be about like, hey, this is a thing that you're triggered by. You find this polarizing, and I don't want to drive people away. I want to bring them into the conversation so we can all kind of just wrestle with each other in a sense, not fight, but wrestle with ideas and you know, join the conversation. So definitely thank you for saying that. And I do want to talk a little bit about some stuff that you want to talk about. I know that being, you know, obviously if somebody's watching the show, they see who you are, and you know, they see the sweet GunsOut TV logo on the background. What is GunsOut TV? Why did you start it? And I'll ask a few other questions after that.
Okay. So now you just watched the origin story, right? So you know the answers to all these questions.
I know all the answers.
You know all the answers to this, man. And I kind of don't want to give it all away, obviously, because we have a piece of content out there that like
it covers it. Yeah.
You know, but you know, I'll give you kind of like a summary of it. It's like this. It's like this. I'm gonna give you Guns Out from my perspective. So from my perspective, I was in the military for over a decade. I never purchased a firearm. I love shooting firearms, rifles, pistols. I was an expert year over year in the Marine Corps. I love going to the rifle range. If anybody in the military, you know, they know you qualify annually with pistol and rifle. And usually it depends on your rank. If you qualify with the pistol, everyone has to qualify with the rifle on an annual basis. The fiscal year starts in October. I liked going to the range so much that I would make sure I go qualify at the end of the year, right before October. And then as soon as October hit, the new fiscal year, I would go again and qualify in October. So basically I would have like almost 2 whole weeks on the range every single year. And I literally did that as often as I possibly can, because it was just a release. It was like a
Yeah.
release, you know? And then, I mean, obviously you had training and stuff in between that, but the rifle range was just literally all day long for 5 days straight. You're just shooting. So yeah. But with all that, I still wasn't comfortable enough to purchase a firearm. And a lot of people, that escapes people because they're like, well, you're in the military and you're shooting guns anyway. Like, why wouldn't you want to own a gun, right? Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When you're a basic rifleman, I was a logistics Marine. So I was in charge of making sure all the troops had their gear and all the logistics and the transportation of things and people were in place and all of those things. And I even transitioned over to budget after that. So I was administrative by nature, but I did go on training exercises, and obviously I did qualify with pistol and rifle. But when you qualify a pistol rifle, and even in training exercises, it's such an ushered experience. You know, handling the firearms is ushered step by step. You go to the armory, you pick up a weapon, and you get on a bus with 100 other Marines, and you get shuttled to the range, and you all get off in a line. Nobody has any rounds or ammunition or anything. You get all of that when you get up to the firing line, and everything step by step by step. So it's almost completely fail safe. And then again, it's not, because people still do silly things, right? So when you have such an ushered experience that is supposed to be fail safe, and you still see people manage to mess it up and do some unsafe stuff, it's just like, you know what? I'm good with this where it is. I'm gonna keep this right here. And, you know, I don't necessarily have to make it a part of my life outside of this, but I enjoy doing it. So then years later, you know, the whole world changes. As I said on the episode, you know, we have a pandemic, we have civil unrest, you know, race relations is, some people might say, an all-time low. And yeah, it was concerning. It was very concerning, you know, being isolated in your home due to a pandemic while people are still out in the streets and there's rioting going on because of, you know, some of the racial tensions and even some COVID related stuff. So it was just like, yeah, you know what? I think it's just time to add a level of security for myself and my family. And I did that. What I didn't know is what would come next, which would be just a full on, I don't want to use the word addiction, but I mean, I really don't know what else to say about the fact that I wanted to go to the range as often as I could. Like literally, I was probably going to the range minimum of twice a week. I was scouting outdoor places to go shoot, buy targets, set up targets. I mean, I really just, I took it to the highest level as quickly as I possibly could. I went from 2 guns. I bought 2 guns initially, a rifle and a pistol. And then like 2 months later, I had 3 rifles, a shotgun, 4 pistols. And now I got even more, and it's just ridiculous. And it's not, I don't really see an end in sight. Right. But it's because I love handling firearms. I love the idea of marksmanship. I love the idea of being able to defend myself, close quarters, long distances. I guess you could say there's like a level of responsibility and discipline that comes with owning a firearm and handling a firearm responsibly. And that fits well with my personality. I've been into fitness since I was 18 years old. That requires discipline. I was in the Marine Corps for over a decade. Obviously, that required discipline. So discipline is a part of my personality. So owning a firearm and having to be disciplined and responsible and almost a teacher and a leader in a lot of cases, because there's so many people that are either against it, indifferent, or novice to it. It, like I said, it just goes really well with my personality. So I think that's why, you know, Guns Out was almost a no-brainer when Shermichael and I talked about it, because we realized that there's a huge gap between what people don't know, what they should know, and how they should want to act, right? So with that being said, and with him seeing how I matured in the community so quickly, we both talked about it. It was just like the perfect use case. It's like, look at a guy that didn't buy a firearm for almost a decade after he got out of the military, and then purchased it for these reasons, but now embraces the entirety of the culture so quickly and so easily. And the culture embraced me back. So it's literally a good news story for anybody that's kind of on the fence or don't really know how to feel about firearms. It's an opportunity to live vicariously through me as I journey through this. And, Shermichael was already in the firearms community. He was already, doing shooting competitions and getting professional training and buying expensive pistols and doing all of these things. And with his political background and knowledge, it was just a perfect merger between our personalities, our resources, and our knowledge combined, that we felt we could get a message across about firearms in a way that is palatable, inviting, digestible, entertaining, and educational.
Thank you for that. Now, real quick, I am going to go ahead and plug your show, but not just your show, but the show on Warrior Poet Society Network. If y'all haven't gotten a chance to go and watch it at this point, whenever this comes out, go ahead, subscribe to their thing, and watch the show. Leave a comment. Let them know what you think. Because at least go watch episode 1. I'm sure a few more will be out by the time this airs. Mm-hmm. But leave some comments. Let them know what you think. And if you want to support these guys, support them. I know you guys have some T-shirts and stuff. So I know it's maybe a little early to plug the merch, but definitely want to support. Definitely want to support the guys who are out there trying to do the thing. There's so many of us who can't get to that point where we're out there and we're on camera and we can look good doing it. Support the people who are out there doing it. I'm a big proponent of that.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that. We really do. Everything can be found on our website. We're very, very transparent about everything that we do, who we're affiliated with, products and people that we believe in. All of that's right there on our homepage. So feel free to patronize any of our affiliates. Check out our store. We're constantly kind of like shuffling new items around, and we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways this year, partnering with 9line, GOA, and a whole host of other sponsors. So it's a lot to come. It's a lot to be excited about in this year.
There you go. So let's talk a little bit about kind of the elephant in the room, and hopefully people can kind of understand where we're coming from when we talk about these things. Mm-hmm. So you're a black dude into guns. It's not exactly normal, but it's becoming more normal. 2020 was it wasn't the advent of black gun ownership. Black individuals have been owning guns for centuries at this point, but it's not been largely socially accepted because of one reason or another, from slave codes to black codes to, shifts in the laws that affect everybody because of certain instances. If you look up the Mumford Act, you understand what I'm talking about. And then we have 2020, and that shifted, I want to say, everything. GunsOut TV was born. We have my show basically the year after that, and where we have a whole slew of instructors and entertainers and educators and people in this space who recognize that either guns are cool or the Second Amendment is an important thing to talk about in regards to self-defense, in regards to our right to defend our lives from whatever. What have you been seeing, and kind of what are you excited about? And if you ever have any concerns, what are you concerned about?
Whew, man. That's a lot to unpack, to be honest, because, I feel like again, with the advent of social media, there's a lot of, there's more FOMO in the society than ever before, to be honest with you. FOMO is real. People are really scared to be left out, miss the boat, whatever the case may be. So I think, in my opinion, the sharp increase in black gun ownership was in part some FOMO, because, there are people that were doing it because, I see what's potentially coming. I want to be prepared for it. And then I know some people personally that just were buying guns because they heard other black people were buying guns. And then there were people that were buying guns because they knew that guns were becoming scarce because everybody was buying them. So then there you go. So you got FOMO because people see other people doing it. Then you got the FOMO because, okay, I might not be able to do it because everybody's doing it. So let me go hurry up and do it. So I do feel like there's a good percentage of that being the reason. But then obviously, like I said, it's rooted in the fact that it almost felt like it was about to become a necessity, right? So I mean, in my case, I felt like it was about to become a necessity. So that's why I did it. And I didn't do it with plans to launch a whole platform behind it. I only did that after I saw what was happening around me. I saw the misconceptions in the culture and all of that, all of that stuff, how people aren't, really accepting of Black people in firearms culture because most of the people that are really doing it and doing it big and been doing it for years are, not Black people. So with that being said, it's just kind of like, it is what it is, right? But it doesn't have to stay that way. And that's what I look at, okay, yeah, so it is what it is. You had some FOMO and you had some people doing it because other people are doing it. But that doesn't mean we have to leave them out there just completely uneducated and unaware of the responsibility that they now have as a gun owner and how that is in jeopardy constantly in the political landscape, to be honest, So that's what was even more of a driving factor for GunsOut, because now that we have all of these Black people with guns, we just want to make sure that they know what to do with it. They know what the responsibility they have. And, we want to write the right narrative, right? Because people write narratives about you and they can push agenda all day long. And, it's all about who can get more of it pumped into the internet the quickest. Yeah. Whoever can get the most pumped into the internet quickest, you can all of a sudden, gather up a mob and bam, that's what that is. And that's going to be that until something just derails it. Right. So yeah, why not try to get ahead of that? Why not try to get ahead of that and make this newfound Black gun ownership a very positive thing? And that's what me and Shermichael aim to do. We aim to really, encourage people to get training, encourage people to have proper legal representation if you're a firearms owner. Know what the gun laws are in, all of the states that you live in, know how to travel with firearms. There's just so many responsibilities that go along with it that I know for a fact most people that are a first-time gun buyer don't even consider those things. They're not even considering those things. I was in a gun shop one day and I was just blown away by this guy going to purchase a pistol, and he didn't know anything about background checks. He didn't know what the laws were he was coming from Maryland, coming to Virginia to buy a gun, which is a no-no. You know what I'm saying? There was just so many things that they just didn't know about. And I'm just like, and the shop owner was telling me, like, man, this happens all the time. I got to turn people away. People don't understand that they have this on their record and that we do background checks. And it's just like, those are like, why aren't people doing their research? Okay, so now we're going to get into the other elephant in the room. When I, purchased my firearms, I was looking for videos on what was the best first time firearm to purchase for home defense, rifle, pistol, what brands, what calibers, this, that, and the third. And I got to be honest, man, I'm searching on YouTube and I'm searching for pistols and rifles and calibers by name. I'm searching keywords for the information that I'm looking for. And I got to be honest, I didn't see any of us giving that instruction there. And I don't know if it was, I'm not a big YouTuber, so I didn't have this whole big YouTube video cache and all of this trending stuff that I always watch. So it's not like I had some type of history. I was just looking for stuff related to firearms. And I just didn't see at first any of us at first, right? And it wasn't until I really got involved in the community and knew who to look for and find these people that look like us and that were competent in the industry and in the community. And then that changed perspective. It's like, oh, wow. So we do have people out here that are really representing us well. Why didn't I find them first? Why didn't they pop up in my initial searches and so on and so forth? So obviously there's a disconnect there, but there's so many theories around that as it pertains to YouTube and social media in general now because of firearms that, that could get lost in translation any day. But that was my personal experience when I first got on YouTube looking for firearms related content.
And I think, first of all, thank you for sharing that. And I wonder, because there are going to be some people who ask, well, why does that matter? Why does it matter that, gun content is gun content. If you're trying to learn about 9mm, if the best guy for the job is white and he's got all the views, why does it matter that there be somebody who is doing well, who can, educate you well, who looks like you. I mean, what does that have to do with guns?
You know what? You're absolutely correct. And I'm going to tell you right now, John Lovell was my favorite. And it's so ironic that, like, literally John Lovell will be my favorite. And this was before Warrior Poet Society got huge, man. I mean, I was watching John Lovell, and like he was comparing AR pistol braces on he had them stacked on a privacy fence. Like he had the guns just stacked on a privacy fence, maybe in his backyard, and he was just showing the different braces and what he liked about this and what he didn't like about that one, and so on and so forth. And there was just so much I consumed tons of John Lovell content before I made my decision to get whatever I got as far as pistol and rifle. And then even after that, I was watching his content. So it didn't matter to me. It really didn't. It's just an observation that I made, right? Sure. Now, it does matter to some people. And let's just call a spade a spade. People want to see people they relate to, And I'm not going to call any names, but there are certain content creators out there that appeal to people that look just like them. And to be honest, they're probably the majority. You know what I'm saying? The majority. And so that's why, you have certain people that are creating different styles of content, maybe less informative, more entertaining, or more informative and less entertaining. And they're getting those people because those people are like-minded and they may look like them and all these other different things. So yeah, I mean, that's just the reality of it. It does matter. Now, did it matter to me in that moment? No. It's an observation I made. Yes. And knowing that it matters to others, that's why I feel, both Michael and I felt compelled to be a good representative for those that are looking for someone that looks like them and came from a background similar to theirs.
Yeah.
It's all about relatability.
That's huge. And I will add something to that is as you're being relatable and as you're being a good representative, you definitely want to be, how do you say this? Sometimes when you're in a world that doesn't really look like you find a sense of home in a person. Mm-hmm. Like you see that person that seems like you across the way, oh man, we both like these things. And that, the Black community is not a monolith. When you say the Black community, sometimes it's somewhat of a misnomer because there's so many subs communities in this overall thing. But I definitely appreciate that you have that perspective and you want to be that for whoever is looking for it, because really there are some things that kind of are associated with gun culture that are affiliated with the type of guys who like guns that may be kind of off-putting towards somebody who's just completely not from this world.
Right.
You're just not used to it. Yeah. You're used to these things and not seeing these things. Can we at least relate on one level, and as you're different than myself, we can relate in regards to certain things. Mm-hmm. And, relatability, that's huge. And obviously, you are completely right. Somebody might disagree, but hey, if you disagree, tweet at me, hit me up in the inbox. I don't care. Like, well, let's talk. Let's talk.
Yeah. No, listen, man, it's called a crucial conversation for a reason.
All right. So, let's talk a little bit more about some of these content creators. Do you see anything that you're extremely excited about, or is maybe there's something that you're concerned about as well, or what's?
So, I'm really interested in meeting all of these content creators, as many as I possibly can. I find their platforms fascinating. I find their approaches fascinating. And I, one of the things that really intrigues me the most is I often wonder who's really like what they are on camera in real life, and who's different, right? I get told a lot that, like you said earlier, what you see on camera is pretty much the same thing you get with me in person. It's not a huge night and day difference, but for some people I know it is. So I'm always intrigued by that. So it's just like, and for me, I feel like this would be exhausting if I wasn't being myself. I feel like it would be very, very exhausting if I had to really be something else or act a certain way and be very guarded, it would take away from the authenticity of the whole experience. So yeah, I always look forward to, to an opportunity to collaborate with another content creator. Now, obviously, I mean, this is a business. We're running a business, and we do have a standard to uphold. So with that being said, it's like, we look at it as an opportunity to elevate ourselves and elevate others. So we don't necessarily cherry pick or whatever. It's all about who's open to work. Let's do the work. There's a lot of work to be done. So people know where to find us. We know where to find people. We reach out, we communicate, and all these other different things. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah. So yeah, I don't necessarily have any concerns. I love the fact that look, it's becoming very obvious that more and more Black people are jumping out there, putting themselves out there to be a part of content creation. And it's whether they're doing it on their own independently, or they're just taking opportunities to be a part of other people's platform. The community for us in particular is growing. It's growing, and I would say it's growing exponentially, to be honest with you, because each and every other person I talk to, like I just recently met Jay the Shooter. Are you familiar with Jay the Shooter?
Yeah, I know Jay. I was talking
to
Jay the
Dude,
other day.
I was like, how did I not know you existed? Like, I mean, he's right here in my backyard. I was like, how did I not know, you existed? And talking to him, and man, he's put me on to so many different people and groups, putting us on, me and Shermichael, by the way. But I talk to him more than Shermichael does. But it's just I find it really fascinating that I don't know. I feel like maybe we need to do a better job of communicating that amongst ourselves. I feel like people should be a lot more inclusive in what they're doing, and open to being included in something someone else is doing. And I mean, that's just...
Is there an example of something like that? You don't have to get super specific, but like...
Oh, no. I mean, it's like me coming on your podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you thought enough of GunsOut to include me and Shermichael. And I honestly thought it was great that you wanted to interview us separately, because it's good. It's good because we're two different people, and people see us together all the time. People see us together all the time. So in any opportunity where someone could sit down and kind of learn who we are as individuals, I welcome that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that was more concerned about other things might be like, oh no, we always got to do it together. And, we're a team and all that. And we're there for each other. And that's an advantage that we have. We have an advantage over other content creators because it's two of us, and we leverage that every chance we get. So I just think that, I would love to see more inclusion. I would love to see people more open to the idea of creating content outside of their comfort zone, maybe, trying new styles, trying to be a part of other enriching messages, right? I think that is when we will see more like crossovers, and we'll see more collaborative efforts within the Black community, specifically in the firearms community. I know like another guy that's a local guy, Mark Chopper, he has the Chopper community, and he's doing his thing, and he's building a following. And I'm like, hey man, good on you. Do your thing, man. If you have an audience and you're pro gun, and as long as, honestly, it's just all about being responsible. It's all about being responsible. And I'm gonna be honest, that's always in the eye of whoever's watching, because people have different standards when it comes to firearms ownership responsibility, right? Some people are way up here with it, and some people are way down here with it, and then there's all this in between, right? So that's just the nature of the beast. That's the same thing in professional sports, in broadcast television, in life. When you go to work, this employee is not going to perform at the same level as that employee, or take the same thing seriously as this one or that one. So again, that comes with meeting people where they are, and kind of, accepting people for who they are, and you don't have to agree with them, and you don't even have to align with them. at the same time. So as long as people are really understanding of that, I think that it will be really positive.
I think there is something that it kind of slipped my mind earlier when you were talking, something I definitely wanted to say in regards to going to YouTube, finding that representation in regards to the gun world, and kind of now being exposed to so many really dope creators in the space that, happen to be Black, and they're awesome. Is for so long a lot of individuals who are Black have believed the lie that, guns aren't for you. That's a white people thing. Don't own guns, don't go hiking, don't go mountain climbing. Like, bro, like, you can do whatever you want to do. And guess what? Seeing guys like yourself out there being safe, responsible, and adventurous with these things, that can definitely allow somebody who has believed the lie for so long that it's not for them to be like, oh shoot, I mean, what John does it, and Shermichael does it, and these other people are doing it, and all his friends, for all these people from across the country, they're doing these things. That's incredible. Where have I been? It's not, I know plenty of old folks. My grandfather, he was in the Marines. He had all sorts of guns. He had one negligent discharge, and it shook him. And now he's a politician making policy that's anti-gun, which is horrifying.
Right.
Me being who I am, and at the end of the day, you don't want to have accidents, and to find out like somebody like a mistake changed someone's entire life.
Right.
That's wild.
I find it fascinating that people only assign that type of stigma to firearms. I mean, you don't hear people talking about banning knives. You don't hear about people talking about banning, nightsticks and baseball bats and brass knuckles and all these other things that can be used as weapons. They don't talk about that, right? And there have been some more horrific killings and acts with all these other blunt objects, including vehicles. They don't talk about vehicle accidents and, oh my God, Americans, everyone should stop driving because people get run over and crashed up into all the time. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
The stigma only gets assigned to firearms, and I'm gonna be honest. That is the one thing I get a little annoyed by it. I do get a little annoyed by it because I feel like someone's taking it to the extreme. Because at the end of the day, if you're negligent with anything you're doing, you're putting someone at risk somehow, period.
Absolutely.
You're negligent with your keyboard when you're responding to somebody on social media, you could spiral them into a depression, and that's just a fact. Okay? So I just really, I just get annoyed, man. And I get annoyed because then you have this person who is now fueled by a singular event, and they don't even realize how many people that they are tainting by their scar. You are now making your scar this person's scar, and it's not their scar, it's your scar.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's selfish. I personally think that's selfish. I think it's very selfish for people to use something that happened bad to them to try to start to advocate. I mean, I'm not talking about things like breaking the law and, anything like that. I'm just talking about a personal experience that you had that is a normal experience under normal circumstances. Like, why would you want to make that anything less than normal for everyone else, especially knowing that it kind of got not normal for you?
Yeah, that's people will try to justify it into the ground, but at the end of the day, infringing on somebody's rights that's written into the country's constitution. Like, at the end of the day, it is. And even if that wasn't, your right to defend yourself with the best tool possible. Like, come on, man. Like, how are you going to take that, especially from the vulnerable, especially from those who would be perceived as weak, such as single mothers trying to get home after working the midnight shift.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But that said, we could talk about that all night.
Oh boy, we could beat that dead horse, and I really don't like to, because, like I said, I get a little annoyed by it. But but it's definitely a crucial part of the conversation, because that is why we have, politicians going after gun control. And, I mean, they literally, I mean, I never paid attention to it before I obviously, started this undertaking with Guns Out. But now that I'm paying attention to it and I see how petty it gets, I see how petty it gets and how these people are talking against firearms and firearms culture so ignorantly, calling firearms by the wrong name when you're trying to tell somebody this is so bad. You don't even know what the name of it is, bro. You don't even know what the name of the gun is that you're telling everyone that you shouldn't own. What is the name of it again? Oh yeah, you don't know. So why are you talking about it? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's huge, and they're so shameless about it. That's the other part that's just so annoying. They're so shameless. They will get right on broadcast television and address the entire nation and call a gun the wrong name, and you'll call a 3-letter agency. You'll mix the letters up. Like, I mean, come on, man. Are we seriously tolerating this right now?
Geez. Like we had Representative Sheila Jackson Lee talking about the AR-15 is as heavy as 10 boxes and it shoots a 50 caliber bullet. Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
And you got people that are eating that up. You got people at home
because they don't know. They have no idea. And they have no idea because they weren't exposed, because they believed the lie for so long. Lies that started in slavery and then have extended out into the rest of American society. Mm-hmm. And, what's angering is generally the side, if we're talking politics for just a second, the side that generally pushes gun control is the people in Congress who call themselves Democrat. And there are some Republicans who don't do a great job of protecting gun control as well. Oh, man, we're gonna throw that in there. We're gonna put that out there. And this is me talking. This isn't you. So just I'm gonna talk.
I'm hearing you, bro.
And what's angering is the Democratic Party has claimed to be the party that seeks to protect the minorities, that seeks to protect Black individuals, Black, brown individuals, the people who are marginalized communities like LGBT communities. But yet you want to strip from them the thing that was stripped from them during slavery. You want to strip from them the best means of defending themselves from all the things that you claim are coming after them. The racist this and the that. Oh, Trump is trying to start a revolution, a war, insurrection, XYZ. And whether you believe all that stuff or not, I'm not having that conversation right now. But I am saying, how are you going to say to me, like, oh, the police are coming to get you, we're going to defund the police, but then tell me that I don't have the right to defend myself from the guy who's literally going to come to get me because he wants to make a little extra money to impress his gang boss or whatever.
Yeah. No, listen. I look at it like this. I feel like their messaging is very contradictory.
It is.
More often than not. I feel like what they're saying, how they're saying it, and who they're addressing when they say it, I just feel like it doesn't match. It doesn't make sense. And I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. I'll literally just leave it at that because it's I've never been into politics, but I've legitimately lost faith in the political process. Mm-hmm. I've lost a lot of faith in the political process because over the last, I want to say maybe 6+ years, it's honestly felt more like a gang and turf war than a political process. I mean, all the way down to the nomenclature of red state, blue state. I mean, people I feel are more latched on to the side they're on versus what's best for people at large.
Like follow the principles, regardless of what your party claims your principles should be.
Right.
I became super angry because cat that goes by Charlemagne the God was having an interview with Vice President Vice President Kamala Harris, and he asked a question that might be perceived as a little bit aggressive or confrontational, asking about some representatives and the president and who's the real president, XYZ.
Oh yeah,
it might have been perceived as disrespectful, and she told him, "Stop talking like a Republican."
That's what that's what I'm saying. They've got like politicians, and look, let me not say politicians, because not all politicians operate that way.
Not all.
So
but it's the standard though.
But it's without question becoming the standard. Like, or there is no standard anymore. You can say whatever you want to say. You can say whatever you want to say. And okay, freedom of speech, I get that. But as a leader, I disagree. I absolutely, positively disagree that as a leader, I don't think you should be able to just say whatever you want to say, because people say things out of emotion, out of anger, out of being triggered. That's dangerous stuff. That's very dangerous stuff. So I feel like you have to have a level of poise. You have to have a level of responsibility with your words and the things that you're saying as a leader. Yeah. And that should be the standard, right? That should be the standard. And what is in the best interest of the nation at large, all of the people that embody America, that should be the focus. That's where everything should be rooted in that. What is going to propel us, further into progress instead of division. That's what I feel. And that's not what I see. That's not what I see. And it's not what I hear in the political process currently.
Right. And hopefully somebody hung around this long to hear me say this. Don't make the mistake to think that I'm letting anybody who calls himself Republican off the hook, because I'm disgusted as well. Disgusted.
Oh man,
we can get into it.
I can't wait to see you and Shermichael talk, man. This is it, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know you were this into politics. I really didn't know that.
I try to keep it out the show just because I want to talk about certain things, and once you start kind of getting messy, people are, well, what do you? It's not important. Let's talk about what's really important, and the fact that the Second Amendment is actually under attack and not being defended by people who claim to defend it, and then is being hypocritically under attack by people who claim to want to protect the people that they're not protecting. It's annoying. Right. And that's talking in circles a little bit, but hopefully people understand.
Sure. I'm sure they get it.
I hope so. So
especially this audience for sure.
If they've come this far.
Right. I hope they came this far.
I do want to talk a little bit about something that's kind of been on my mind recently. I had a conversation with Marshall Davis, aka Tig, Big Tig from MySistersKeeper.com. Not .com.
We're supposed to do something with Tig. We've been trying to do something with Tig for months, man.
And make it happen. She's
scheduling has been crazy, but Tig, we definitely still got you on our list of people to collab with. So please don't write us off just yet.
Tig is awesome, and definitely I want to see y'all do something together. That said, me and her talked, and she is really not a big fan of what they call like 2A culture, gun culture, because her mission's not really been about that. Her mission's been to educate and raise up basically a new generation of responsible first generation gun owners, more or less. Not to butcher her mission, but really to raise up Black women. She's a women's instructor, but who also trains men. And she was, we basically talked about like divorcing 2A culture from safe and responsible gun ownership that supports the right to, bear arms and, Second Amendment, but really just saying like, hey, you guys can keep, all the culture was generally recognized as kind of like some of the good old boy stuff or some of the right-leaning rhetoric stuff. And you can just kind of keep that, because coming from this culture, a lot of, let's say, the typical Black woman from Atlanta, that's where she teaches, probably isn't really into a lot of the things that you would see from, like, say, a typical gun guy from Texas. Yeah. And hopefully that's understood. And do you see any importance in doing that, or are we going about it the wrong way? Should we not be looking at trying to do some divorce necessarily of the two things?
Culture is culture.
Yeah.
I love culture. I love different cultures. I think that's what makes us unique as human beings. And I think culture is derived from enough people believing in something to be a part of it the way that it was presented to them. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that cultures can't change. It doesn't mean that you can not have in your mind one day, I'm gonna start dressing differently. I'm gonna read different books. I'm gonna watch different shows. I'm gonna go meet different people. Like, culture can change based on your location, based on the people you interact with, based on what you're introduced to and when, right? Mm-hmm. So I think culture is important. I think that, when you say divorce culture from the God-given right, I almost think that the God-given right is the culture. That's a part of it. And I think it goes back to that representation, that proper representation within your culture or within a culture that you're familiar with. Because people, familiarity is everything. People will go to something that they're familiar with 9 times out of 10 because it's comfortable and because it's accessible. It's because it takes the least amount of effort to acclimate to. Unless you're that person that likes that challenge, to like to walk into a room of people that aren't even talking about the same thing you're talking about, or look the way or dress the way, like some people live for that. Some people live to be that, round peg in a bunch of square holes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and again, that's a person's choice. That could be the culture in and of itself. So yeah, until I meet Tig and I really understand her mission better from her and see exactly what she's doing, I can't really comment on the way that you articulated what she said about divorcing, the God-given right from the culture. If I'm saying that right, I'm understanding that right, what you said, right?
This sounds about right, and making sure that, I guess, what she's done really well is creating an environment where people can come in and get instruction, and they don't have to worry about people making comments about George Floyd and things like that. Or I believe she said this to me at one point, that somebody either that she knows or herself went into a CCW class during the whole George Zimmerman trial and made comments about it. And as somebody who maybe you're undecided, or maybe you are on one side or the other, to walk into a class where you're trying to receive instruction and people feel very comfortable having very serious conversations in a place where you didn't come for those conversations, right? That, to me, that screams of insensitivity at the very least. And I'm not going to try to judge intent.
Right. And so again, I think it's not a culture thing. That's a that's a your upbringing thing. That's a you not being compassionate to the human condition thing. That's, you not being empathetic to what somebody, look, some people need to learn opinions are just that, they're opinions, and all opinions aren't welcomed or asked for. And sometimes, and in most cases, you probably should keep them to yourself, or if you are going to give your opinion about something, then you might want to ask, hey, do you mind if I give you my opinion on this? It's about respect. To me, it's more about respect than anything else, and then again, I just go back to the comfortability that people feel with dealing with people that look like them, talk like them, come from the same backgrounds, similar upbringings, similar religious preferences. All of that's important to people. That's their safe space. And who am I to be to say anything against that? Right. So for example, if there's a woman who is a part of the LGBTQ community, and she feels comfortable with learning firearms from someone else in that LGBT community, so be it. If that's what it takes for her or him to get into the responsibility aspect and the serious aspects of firearms ownership, so be it. It's about getting to that level. It's about having and learning that respect. And that should be a standard across the board in any culture. All of that should be a standard. The aspect of safety and responsibility and knowing specific information as it pertains to firearms ownership, I think that should be standard no matter what community, no matter what your culture is. That should be the standard. So if you keep that the standard, then it doesn't matter which group you're getting the standard from. It's the same standard. It's just like when you go to Chick-fil-A, it don't matter what state you're in, that Chick-fil-A is probably going to be almost 90% accurate to the other Chick-fil-A over here and over there and everywhere else, because it's a standard.
Yeah, and they're all banging. Sorry, guys.
Bussing. Let me get that number 2, bro. ASAP.
I need my lemonade. I need light ice, and let it be large.
Look, man, do it. Let's go. What time is it?
Man, it's closed. Bro. When it's too late on a Sunday. Going into the Sunday.
Too late on a Sunday. When you wake up on a Sunday, it's over.
What I meant to say is Saturday night.
Chick-fil-A land.
Saturday night, and you're like, oh shoot.
Oh right, and
they
you gotta wait till Monday.
Now you gotta wait a whole day, bro. I'm dying. I'm like, no.
Yo, that's real, bro. That's so real. The late night Sunday Chick-fil-A, I mean the late night Saturday Chick-fil-A run, because you can't get it until like Monday at lunch or something like that. Yeah, that's real. Bro.
That's right. They have that's good business though. You make people miss you.
Hey man. Listen, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest. See, standards. When you make a standard that is such a high standard, such a consistent standard, that's what you get. That's the reward for such a consistent standard.
Absolutely. And that's something that I wish to emulate in my life, and I'm seeing that in what you guys are doing, and that's really cool. I did want to touch on one thing before we move on to another topic and wrap up. Something that happened that I think negatively reflected on 2A culture and gun culture overall was Recoil magazine. They put out an issue back during the summer. It had Top Shot Chris on it. Top Shot Chris is a gay man, and the comments underneath their post when they announced that they were putting out a new article or what do they call it in magazines? Issue. It was awful, and it makes me wonder if people understand, people in the gun community, people that I hang out with every once in a while. I go to these events and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And we're all hugging, we're hanging out. A lot of these guys are amazing. Most of them, in fact, it's hard to tell if somebody's not, because they're just so welcoming, so warm, so kind. That they want you to shoot up all their ammo. But then you see some of the comments that I saw, and you're like, dang, it's not everybody. It's just a few bad apples that makes the whole pot look bad. But it's like, dang.
Yeah.
What happened here? Why do you feel like guns are yours and not also, I mean, if you believe Second Amendment's for everybody, right? Like, why do you think that guns are for you and your values?
Yeah. Yeah. People are selfish. Like, there are people that everything is about them. And when people meet other people that feel that exact same way, it's like-minded people link up, and now you have a group, so to speak. Yeah. And trust me, they find each other in comment sections. Okay. Comment sections. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Listen, let's talk about comment sections.
I'm so good. Let's talk about comment sections. First off, I want to thank GunsOut Nation. I speak for both me and Shermichael when I say I'm humbled by how positive our comment section has been. I mean, clearly, we're still new. We don't have thousands and thousands of comments on every video, but when I tell you our videos comments the percentage of positivity is 90-something% minimum. And it's just so affirming. Like and so I'm saying that to not only thank Guns Out Nation, everybody that watches and supports Guns Out, I'm saying bring that same energy to other content creators too. You know, if other people that are following other content creators, bring that same energy to them, bring that same energy to the person that's serving you at Starbucks. Just bring that positive energy, man, that positive energy. People don't understand how far that can go, how far that can take them. And once you get accustomed to always giving that positive energy, you're going to find that so much positive energy is reciprocated back to you. You're going to be getting positive energy in places that you didn't know you were going to get positive energy from. So yeah, it's an important thing. I really think it's a very, very important thing. Sorry, got on a tangent off of comment sections, but yeah, man, comment sections are crazy. They're absolutely crazy. I'm gonna be honest. Like, there's been some videos that I went to watch the video, and then I literally stopped watching the video and just fell off into that comment section. I'm gonna tell you the exact one video that did that. When Colin Noir interviewed Detroit urban survival dude.
Oh, Dale Brown.
Oh. That had to be the most enjoyable comment section I have ever I don't even know how far down that rabbit hole I went, but I was fire. You know how when you have a comment and then you have so many replies that you'll click replies and it'll only show you like the next 5.
And you got to keep going.
You got to keep clicking. Oh, Lord, boy. It was some comedy in there and it was warranted. Okay. It was absolutely warranted. Sorry, I'm a Colin fan. I love what you do, bro. But I didn't watch the video anymore. I just started reading the comments. Man, look, you could. I feel like Colin should take that comment section and just like publish it. The comments on Dale Brown interview comments. I'm telling you right now, people gonna buy that thing. You could probably make that an NFT. You could probably, Colin, I want a percentage of that. If you decide to do that, I want a percentage of the Dale Brown comments NFT because that thing is valuable, boy. That thing was hilarious, man.
It's fire.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. Social media is an interesting place. It's an interesting, and people need to understand it's a place. That's why we have metaverse now. Mm-hmm. That's why everything is going virtual, and people are. I mean, it's getting. I'm gonna be honest. I gotta say from my perspective, it's getting weird. And I mean weird in a way that like I didn't this is stuff you watched on movies before when you saw people having digital avatars in digital spaces and they were like literally living there, and then the whole Grand Theft Auto is a perfect example of that. I used to meet people that were so into Grand Theft Auto, they would have avatars, like their person would have a whole life, and they would walk me around. Yeah, man, this is my nightclub, and this is where I go. This is my East End garage, and I got all these cars in here. And I'm just like, you are talking about this like it's real, sir. It's like, not real, sir.
I have investment opportunities over here. Like,
yeah, man, look, man.
I met my wife over there. It was great.
Man, look, I'm just telling you, bro. It's interesting. It's interesting where things are going. And look, throughout all of it, I'm guaranteed to just be me and stay me. And that would be my advice to everybody else. I have a little saying that I coined myself, and it's called adopt characteristics, but never abandon your character. Character is so important. Character is who you are. But it doesn't mean that you can't see a person that's doing something a certain way and admire that enough to adopt that process or that school of thought. You can still do that and still be yourself and still be true to yourself. But now you just have another layer, another capability, another way of thinking, another way of operating. It's a tool in your tool belt.
Yeah, no, that's good. One last question, and hopefully we can get it out right, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know it's getting late.
It's all good, bro.
Very late. So GunsOut TV, you guys are doing great things. Obviously, I'm a big fan, big supporter. Love what you guys are doing. A big reason why you guys wanted to start was you wanted to be that representation. You wanted to enjoy your hobby. You wanted to put it out there for the world to see. And, as a byproduct, it's good for Black gun owners at large.
Mm-hmm.
In what way are you guys being intentional with that responsibility to be good for Black gun owners at large?
I think consistency. I think, it starts with consistency. We're not going to flip the script on you. We're not coming in one way and then going to change the agenda on you after we have the captive audience. Mm-hmm. We're going to remain the way we were then. We're going to remain that way, but we're just going to continue to elevate. And you will see, I can guarantee you will see a lot more involvement and elevation specifically in our communities from Guns Out. I know everyone thinks about things differently. Shermichael and I were both very, 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 very strategic and business minded. And we knew that we wanted to build a strong platform. We wanted to have a very strong foundation that would help us not only succeed in the current mission, but help grow the mission and then help get others involved. Yeah. So in doing that, by aligning with Gun Owners of America, or more appropriately, having Gun Owners of America be kind enough to align with us, that gave us that strong foundation. Because this is Gun Owners of America we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are the people that are fighting for 2A rights, period. The principle of Second Amendment, they are fighting for that, right? So when you have that as a foundation, and then you have a standard that we built from the beginning, because we were on television, we were on broadcast television. So after getting canceled from TV, we could have easily said, you know what, we're just going to do cell phone, iPhone videos now, on YouTube. We're going to downgrade it. We don't need to do all of this, blockbuster.
It's a lot of extra work.
A lot of extra work, bro. But you know what? We signed up for that, because if we were still on TV, we would still be doing that. So because we're not on TV, why do we need to alter the mission and alter the intent? So we didn't. We remain consistent with our production. We may remain consistent with our mission, and we're going to continue to do that. And as we continue to do that, like I said, we're gonna do things and reach out to people and collaborate with more people that are positive for 2A, period. Like, period.
Yeah. Now, I know I said last question, but
it's okay.
How can your audience, and maybe even folks who aren't in your audience yet, take action and be aggressive even in pursuing their 2A rights and pursuing gun ownership and supporting the mission of what we're all trying to do here and make sure everybody's safely and responsibly armed?
To be honest, that's a loaded question. And it's a loaded question because, to be honest, it transcends the support of Guns Out, of Armed Atlas, mm-hmm. of even Gun Owners of America. It transcends support for platforms that are responsible in this space. It starts with individuals wanting to get the information for themselves and get the right information and cross-check that information and compare that information and find out what is appropriate for them, what works for them, what is legal for them, depending on where they live. So it starts with the individuals. So I feel like individuals need to take that responsibility for themselves. I always say this at some point or another in interviews that I personally I love to target the indifferent, because I feel like the people that are indifferent about firearms are almost the people that matter the most, because I feel like they're the majority. I feel like you have 2A people and you have anti-gunners, but you got this big ocean of people in the middle that could care less either way. And in most cases, I've seen that if they care less either way, they would side with anti-gun, because it's safe. It's safe.
It's popular.
They don't want to seem insensitive, and that's in part because some people on the 2A side are really aggressive. 2A people can be aggressive.
That's a big part of that culture question. It's like, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
Be nice. You don't have to be a tough guy.
Right, right. This is not this. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely correct. So yeah. So I think that it comes down to that. I think people need to just be they need to vet their information a lot better. They need to seek it out more. They need to ask questions, and they need to ask questions to different people in different spaces and get different perspectives on things, and then make an informed decision. Don't just go with what pulls your heartstrings. Don't just go with what's being pumped at you in social media and broadcast media and all these other things. Go and get the information for yourself, meet some new people, talk about some new things, and get a new perspective on things. Get a broader perspective on things. And that doesn't pertain just to firearms. It pertains to a lot of different things, right? But obviously for firearms, yeah, it would do the entire community and the entire population a great service if people were just a little more open-minded. Some people need to relax a little bit. Some people need to get a little bit more aware. So, it's on both sides. Yeah.
Man. Thank you, John.
This has been great, man. I really appreciate you inviting me on the show, man. You got a class act, operation here, man. And I'm rooting for you, bro. I'm rooting for you, That's all I can say, man. I like you as a person, Aaron, and I think your platform is very positive and it's necessary. And every little bit helps, brother. Every little bit helps.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you coming on, man. Where can people find you to continue the conversation, to ask you questions, to interact with your content, to find more of Guns Out?
All right, man. That's a great question. So, first, our website, GunsOutTV.com. And I say that because everything can be found on our homepage. Everything. Our YouTube, you can get to our YouTube from GunsOutTV.com. You can get to our social media. Our social feed is right on the main page. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You can shoot emails to info@GunsOutTV.com. Subscribing to the newsletter is probably the best thing you can do, because anything that's meaningful in the Guns Out community is going to be sent out in a newsletter first. That's going to probably be the first place it goes out. So subscribing to the newsletter is pretty crucial. Our social handles across all social media @GunsOutTV, period, all together, @GunsOutTV. Me personally, my is @Mr. J Keys. If you search John Keys on Instagram, I'll pop up. I wanted to change my to @John Keys or whatever, but it was just ugly and stupid because there's other John Keyses out there. So I just kept Mr. J Keys. So yeah, you can find me @Mr. J Keys, @GunsOutTV, and Shermichael, it's @Shermichael_. So you can easily find him too. But yeah, no, man, listen, I welcome people. Hit me on the DMs, leave comments under our videos. We honestly, if you go look at our comment sections, we acknowledge almost every comment, if not every comment, and we respond to the majority of comments. Mm-hmm. So we're very interactive with our community because we honestly want people to feel like they know us. We want people to feel like they can trust us. So we encourage the interaction.
Absolutely. 100%. And just on that website point, it's so important. Shoot, Instagram went down a few months ago, mm-hmm. and it was gone for about a whole day. There was a whole day.
I remember that. Instagram. I remember that.
And I was at peace time.
That day. I was at peace.
Yeah, it was a very peaceful time. It was beautiful, except when you consider, like, shoot, if my entire business and my people's preferred way to contact me is via Instagram, what if it never comes back? Yeah. What if everything is gone and we have to restart?
Yeah.
How can people find us? Shoot, that's where the website comes in handy. So go ahead, find the website. Just go ahead and hit that favorite button. Visit it from time to time. See if they're running a special on some shirts, because you love the shirts. I mean, it looks good. You see this, man? You will look just like John Keys if you buy the shirt.
Man, we got to send you out some shirts, man. Definitely.
Man.
When we get up, I better text me your address, bro.
I'll send you the PO box. Yeah, man. It's no problem. It's no problem.
Sir.
Definitely. Does it come in black?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man. So y'all go ahead and follow this man. Follow Guns Out TV. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow. A lot of people, for some reason, they'll follow on Instagram, but they won't subscribe on the YouTube. Do both. Yeah. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It doesn't hurt, man. And
it doesn't hurt. It's free.
Yeah, even if you're not a person that frequents YouTube or frequents social media, hitting that subscribe thing, man. Listen, y'all, you guys don't know how much influence you have. Viewers have the most influence. They call us influencers, but viewers have the most influence because we aren't anything if you're not watching us. So, you know, hey man, throw us a bone. Make our job just a little bit easier. Just a little bit easier.
Just a little bit easier. And,
just a little bit.
You know, John, keep
Aaron,
it costly.
It's been great, bro, man. I appreciate you having me, man. I can't wait to come back. I can't wait to see you and Shermichael go at it. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be a fly on the wall one way or another. Guys, if you hear chuckling or heckling or whatever in the background, is because I'm either at Shermichael's house when he's doing it, or I made my way over, or I hacked the system or something, because I just got to see how that goes down. Because like I said, you know, this was a costly conversation, but Shermichael real expensive. He real expensive.
That man, he's on another level. If y'all have not paid attention to a little bit of Shermichael, he's doing something, and he's got some cool ideas, and I'm excited to hear from him. That said, everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching the videos or the replays or wherever wherever you're listening, thank you so much. Keep it costly.